YouTube, how is everybody doing today? Welcome back to the Ark of Osiris League cast. This is not the actual Osiris League just yet. Osiris League coming up on update 21. But for now, we're doing our own thing. That is casting as many regular Ark of Osirises as possible to have a little bit of show everybody these alliances doing an unbelievable amount of work, playing their arcs, planning things out. Let's make sure we let the world know this is going on. So give me a moment, chat, as I will send this link out for anyone who wants to participate in the stream. So give me just a moment. We have a couple of minutes left to do. Let's see. We want to send this here. Let me mute that. Bam. We do that and send that out, and then we gotta send the same thing out in here like that. Bam. Cool. We're good. What's up, chat? How's everybody doing? What's up, Gulf City? Liu, what's up? How's it going? You're new here. Ali, Lidio, Adrian, Titch, Salma, how's it going? Can't wait to see your tier 5s. I'm working on it. It's in the making. Hopefully very soon. What's up, Casper? How's everybody doing today? This is, I think, our third Ark of Osiris cast for this weekend. It's end day, putting up the books and battles skill right before the event starts. It is about that time. We're about a minute and 50 seconds away. This matchup is a little bit of a weird one because it's a big power change, right? Big power difference between the two, and it's going to be most likely a slaughter for UCS. But UCS are one of those alliances that I don't think we see enough of on YouTube or in general in the game. We know who they are. We know how strong they are. I mean, seriously, we're talking 7 billion power alliance with one of the most fierce leaders in the game, a set of R4s, but they suffered a recent loss with Sir Alex leaving the alliance. This is going to be one of those Ark of Osirises without Sir Alex, so it's going to be interesting to see how UCS bounce out of everything. UCS is against an alliance from Kingdom 17. Okay, well, we're about to find out who they are in a moment. I don't do too much research on who the other alliances are, but I do know the alliances participating usually do the research and kind of know who they play against. I just haven't had the opportunity to talk to the guys in UCS to figure out if they know who this alliance is. So yeah. What kingdom is this? This is Kingdom 2, Bob the Builder. They are an alliance from Kingdom 2. How's it going, Madars? On point for this one? Heck yeah, you are. Perfect timing. We are 20 seconds away from this arc cast. We're gonna do the usual talk in the beginning of the arc. I do a little bit of a talk about how the arc works, the early game of the arc works, usually because the casts are left as VODs for YouTube later on. And if people come and watch these things trying to figure out how Ark of Osiris works, they can watch this and have a basic idea of what's going on. Let's get into the battlefield. We have our boys at UCS versus who do we have on the other side that ported like crazy? WFL. Let's change the title really quickly. Give them the credit that is due. WFL coming up against an alliance that I really wouldn't want to go up against. The monsters that are UCS. I keep saying JWM. WFL. So UCS against WFL. Let's take a look at what they're rocking right here. So far, we have yet to find a tier 5 player, like a in-depth tier 5 player. I don't think they have one. They have a few 40 millions. They have a 46. These guys, okay, there's a 50 in here. So he's a potential. He has tier 5s, just maybe not as many. Or unless he has crazy amounts of tier 4s. So no bueno at all. No bueno at all for the folks in blue. As the lineup by UCS is end day with 130 million power. Gelb here at 88, 51. We have tier 5s all over the place in here. Some of these guys have enough troops in them that they don't really care too much and just are sending them into the slaughter. PC2 Hood in the house as well. Abe playing under the UCS flag as well. Looking good so far. This is not going to be fun. This is not going to be fun for the blue team at all. Do I speak Spanish? Yes, I do. I do speak Spanish. So the way Ark of Osiris works is that the first 3 minutes of the battle is cooldown period. It's essentially the prepare for battle time. Once that happens, the first set of buildings opens up for conquering. These are the obelisks and the outposts of Seth on either side, Seth and Iset. The way it works is like once you get the obelisks under your control, you end up getting a certain amount of teleports, which will allow your city to teleport out of the initial zone, which is back here, all the way to where the obelisks are. Once that is done, what usually happens is there is a little bit of a period of time where people are chilling, preparing for the next phase. When the 5th minute hits the mark, which is about 52 minutes left in the match, you're going to see the middle buildings open up, and these are the shrines and altars. Each side has its own set of shrines and altars. This map is a mirrored map in the center right here. So what we're going to see in a moment is a bunch of troops pouring out of here, heading towards the initial buildings. Plus, we're going to see rallies starting on either obelisks, both from each side, on both sides, really. It's a very common strategy. We're looking at 23 against 27, which is not the best of looks for Winterfell, but they probably said, screw this, I don't feel like dealing with this. I mean, that sounds about right. 23 against 27, even UCS missing a couple of people in here. The marches are slowly starting to pour in, going out towards the initial buildings, and at the same time, 2 rallies up by WFL, 3 rallies up by UCS. WFL going for their own. WFL aiming at the enemy obelisks, their own obelisk and their enemy's bottom obelisk. UCS, on the other hand, have 3 rallies started on obelisks, 1 on the bottom side, I guess, of the blue team, and the other one, end day, taking their own. So they're kind of like Xing out the rally. Is kind of a cool thing. It's something we've been seeing a lot happening lately. And now UCS adding another rally into their favor towards their own obelisk, which is being rallied too. And of course, Porkchop going for the outpost of Iset on the other side of the map. Now let's go ahead and close this out. Make sure that we have everything under control. Both rallies marching here, about 2 minutes on each rally here. And this is interesting. UCS's rallies are waiting or mobilizing. Only Porkchop's march really is moving across the battlefield. Let's go take a look at how big this march is, what we have here, what they're dealing with. So we're seeing End Day's rally on its way as well. Porkchop with about 500k. End Day on his way out this way, and Captain Snowball on his way that way. And now the question is, who will pick up the first few buildings and who will do what? Usually what I do during these casts, chat, is that I tend to pay more attention to the cast early on as things are developing. And as this match potentially reaches its end, it becomes a little bit one-sided or something like that, I'll turn more towards you guys in the chat. So if I don't pay attention, don't reply to you guys throughout the beginning of the cast, don't be discouraged. Once we get to a certain phase, I'll talk more to the chat. What's up, Raz? How you doing, Mr. A? So if I'm ignoring you a little bit, don't be sad. It's just paying attention to the cast, making sure we get everything as fast as possible and as well as possible. 3 outposts of Iset going towards the red team. Blue team already pushing forward. They have all of their initial buildings ticking for occupation. The way this works is every time a team picks up a building, there is a 3-minute cooldown in which you have to hold onto the building before it officially belongs to your team. And while that is happening, if we take a look zoomed in at the map, we're going to see marches slowly and steadily making their way a bit more forward, a bit more towards the sky altars, the desert altars, the shrines of life. We're going to see slowly the marches making their way across the map. And they put a rally in here, so this obelisk should be very secured. And right now we're waiting on a rally that is marching down towards this obelisk and a rally that is marching up, that was marching up this way. I guess the rally was canceled, or maybe it's going this way. This is where the rally is coming. So we have rallies coming across the board for each team. We are looking at a very, very quick rally, about 24 seconds this way. And let's go take a look at this one. It's marching for 2 minutes. Where is it at? It's going here as well. UCS canceled the rallies on their enemies' obelisks. A very important thing to notice as Steel Series decides it's time for updates right now. Oh, buddy, this obelisk is a bit weak. Will UCS lose this obelisk early on? WFL marching with a rally, and this rally is doing massive damage. Massive damage. There still are troops in here. It seems that the rally is still taking a massive amount of damage, but they will be successful at occupying UCS's obelisk, slowing down UCS very early on and having a decent amount of troops in the obelisk right now. We're about to find out what we have left in here. We have tier 5s marching on the battlefield on their way here. Only one march really made it to this obelisk. Let's go take a look at how many. There are 1.1 million troops inside this obelisk right now, trying to hold on to it for the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And this is going to put a little bit of a damper on UCS's game because it'll take them a bit longer to secure this obelisk and therefore to be able to port to the bottom side of their map. While that is going on, the blue team is very safely securing their obelisks. They're about to be able to port out into their obelisks. This one is not being contested at all, but the bottom one that is about to go for the blue team, and you'll see the teleports coming in a moment, and therefore this rally might not be very successful. The map opened up. All buildings are available for occupation. Blue team with 3 altars. Very aggressive move by the blue team very early on. Altars are already blinking. Red team is not going to let these altars stand blue. These are solo tier 5 marches chunking up these desert altars. There's a march making its way to the desert altar. Hopefully it has enough time to get here and allow more of these marches to get in. This is really going to be about delaying the inevitable right here. And here comes Nishal, reinforcing the desert altar, adding a few more moments for the desert altar to survive these hits by PC, who is solo hitting the desert altar right here. We have a march just standing still here from the blue team. I don't really understand why, but as of right now, red team swarming their own obelisk. This 1 million troops are doing a decent amount of damage, but there is no Yisong Ye here. So these solo swarms are really effective. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marches from WFL having to march back a little while. So they have a good minute plus, 2 minutes worth of march that these troops are out of the game at this point. Someone did manage to march out, and you can see the red team keeps swarming more and more, but the blue team keeps adding in troops. Castile really has to get in here. All of these guys really need to get in here as soon as possible, because if they manage to get first occupation bonus on this building, it's going to be an absolute steal for them, and they really want to make sure they do that. And one march walking out to allow another one to come in. That is the right play, although you could have probably moved those troops a little bit closer. But still, not a big deal, as this desert altar seems to be standing strong for now. And if you're seeing marches appearing on the screen, it's a little bit of lag more than anything. Shrine of War being hit by Pork Chop, a solo march here. Can Pork Chop take away the Shrine of War? It seems like he will be successful to take it away from the blue team's hand. That's a very rough start early on. The blue team do secure their Shrine of Life on their side, on the enemy side as well. So now the question is these altars. These altars must stand, and UCS know they have to stop the first occupation bonus and take it away from the blue team. But the blue team keeps sending more and more marches, and these marches have to hold on for 30 seconds. The HP bar is not representative of what is inside the building, as it accumulates the total amount of troops that have been in here. And if more and more people kept reinforcing this building, that bar actually, there could be a max amount of troops in there, but the bar looks that yellow. 10 seconds. Can the blue team hold on to the desert altar for first occupation? This is going to be a nice play by them right here. And they indeed take the first occupation bonus away from UCS on one of the desert altars. And the second one, the sky altar, is secured for them as well. Desert altar about to be secured for UCS, and their sky altar is secured as well. But it is being contested with a rally. There are a lot of marches on the red team's side right here. So hopefully they can hold on to the sky altar a bit more easily. They are chunking away at this rally. My goodness, that rally is not going to stand a chance. At this point, even if they lose the desert altar, the blue team really did a very important first task, which is to make sure they take that first occupation bonus. This will keep them in the game and not give UCS a huge lead very early on. You can see right now that UCS hold 3 altars, which is very bad news for the blue team, as the altars are the buildings that give the most amounts of points, 150 points per minute. If we go take a look at the points per minute game, we can see that the red team are about 100, a little bit more now, about 210 points per minute ahead of the blue team, which means that as of right now, for every minute, the gap that UCS have ahead of the blue team is growing and growing and growing. The blue team has to be able to react in some way to get back some of these point-making buildings, or else they're going to be in serious trouble. We have about 47 minutes left in the match, and it's starting to get a bit more red than it was before. UCS has 10 times more tier 5s than WFL. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. At this point, we are at a standstill. The standstill here is because the blue team did secure more first occupations, but the red team now are starting to take the buildings away from them, and the little bit of a heads lead, a little bit of the blue lead is slowly and steadily dissipating. The more time passes, the more UCS are going to get ahead, and this is where the blue team have to be able to react. So take a look if there are rallies anywhere going on. There's a battling rally happening in the Obelisk, on their own Obelisk. There's a rally on a rally right here, battling it out, trying to hold on to the top Obelisk by the blue team. We'll keep an eye on that in a moment. We have rallies going up on an Obelisk as well. A marching rally going towards an enemy Obelisk. This, in my opinion, is a huge misplay. You guys really want to be focusing on the point-making buildings. You don't want to be focusing on obelisks at this point in time. A lot of UCS already ported out. They're already out there. You really have to stop their point-per-minute game as soon as possible. Am I going to be making a video of LG getting the Great Ziggurat? I don't think so. I don't even think I recorded it. I don't remember, to be honest with you. It's like once the Ziggurat was a crazy thing because it was so laggy. I couldn't keep an eye on anything. It kept crashing my game from so many people Legends had out there in the Ziggurat. So now comes the plow. This is where the red team start pushing forward, and the amounts of tier 5s they have ahead are a huge issue for this blue team, who probably don't have as many maxed out Yisong Ye's to hold on to buildings and things like that. So the despair in strength between these two teams is really starting to show, and UCS taking the lead right now with a huge amount of points ahead by about, what is that? That's like 490 points ahead every single minute. The blue team is fighting for the bottom obelisk here that belongs to the red team, and they'll be completely unsuccessful at doing so. I mean, you have someone like OVO, who has 91 million power and enough troops to send to do whatever the heck he wants. You have no one right next to this. You really think you're going to be able to take it away with 4 marches, 1 million troops? The Ark of Osiris has spawned, but the blue team have no presence in the middle whatsoever. This is the testament to the power despair here between the blue team and the red team, And we're going to see UCS starting to run away with this game. So I'm seeing that UCS primarily are swarming, which is not a bad thing, especially knowing who their opposition are. They know that they can safely swarm, that the likelihood of there being a maxed out Yi Seong-Ye on this Sky Altar is very low. Ali, bro. Next KVK, top 7 kingdoms in KVK. That's never going to happen. UCS, LG, JWM, who is the more powerful? JWM still are. JWM are still the stronger. And UCS I think UCS and JWM are just pretty much kind of the same. JWM have more firepower at this point. And White Tigers are also way up there. White Tigers have a huge alliance. And from there, the K50, the Misfits, Lion Division, and all that. It's really tough to say who is bigger, who is stronger, right? Because the power doesn't represent a single thing. It doesn't represent anything. Because High was the third biggest alliance in the game before migration, and when JWM came at us, that power had tens and tens of people who didn't do absolutely anything. So if you have 6 billion power, but 4 billion of it are non-fighters, then there is really no way to compare it, right? We're going to have to see how these teams fight each other to figure out who is the better one. Next KVK will be awesome. Yeah, next KVK should be cool. I'm more looking forward to the Osiris League, to be honest with you, because in the Osiris League, we will see all the big titans eventually get going at each other, even if it only means in the playoffs. Like there's going to be a playoffs round, and that's going to include all the top of the top, right? So we're going to get to see the best of the best playing against each other, and it's going to be kind of cool, I think. So here is another swarm here by no one. No one swarming this WFL Sky Altar, which could be packed with troops, but they don't really mind it. There is no AoE on this building, so it's all good. They'll just take the damage. No one has plenty of troops. OVO has plenty of troops, even though he seems to not be paying attention to this side of the map at this point. Sorry, chat. We're not seeing any red building blinking anymore. We're not seeing the blue team really pushing out for buildings. I feel like now what we're going to start seeing more and more is the blue team trying to figure out how to hold on to what they do have. So even though they're trying their best to rally something like a Desert Altar, when there are so many tier 5s inside this Desert Altar, we can go take a look at this. When you have so many is there not that many people here? Is there only the one march? It seems like there's only the one march in this Desert Altar. Let's take a look at what's in it. Because even if this is a full tier 5 march, this rally is going to have a kind of a tough time. And that's going to give plenty of time for another march to make its way to this rally. And even though it's one, I hope Mollusk is not going to let this building fall. He can't let this building fall. Get in here, my man. Oh, boy. We got Pork Chop on the other side of this rally too, but if it's successful taking the building, even if it's going to have very low troops in there, that's still a win. That's still slowing down UCS just a tad bit. And it does look like there is potential for this. Unfortunately, the rally is taking so much damage. The damage it's inflicting on the building is much lower. Is UCS really going to let this building go? They did. Okay. I guess they're not really playing at their peak, right? They're letting these things happen. This is like a huge mistake that should never happen. That's 3 minutes without making points on a Desert Altar for nothing. But these guys are aiming towards solo points at this point, I guess. They know that they are doubling up the score of their opposition. They are gaining 680 points per minute more than their opposition right now. 40 minutes remaining. They know that they got all the time in the world to keep earning points and doing the damage they are doing, and they are plowing forward. They are on the enemy Obelisk. The Obelisk by the blue team looks like a red war zone. These guys are actually pushing forward, getting rid of all the cities that have ported close, and only then going for the Obelisk. I mean, you would have thought Ende and all these folks would want to get this Obelisk first and then port forward. But they don't really mind all this. What they're looking for right now is for solo points, for damage, for kills, for massiveness, as End Days Rally is marching 770,000 troops inside this thing. But I can put good money that that march right there has plenty of tier 5s in it, if not a full tier 5 march altogether. Going into this obelisk, plus the solo swarm that's going to go on in here, we're going to see the red plow slowly and steadily take over the map. Interesting choices, letting the structure go over to WFL. I agree. I don't think they really minded it too much. Osiris League will be just a month of... oh, we disconnected. Timeout. Osiris League will be just for a month of less, but next KVK will be awesome. Will be just for a month? No, Osiris League is going to be longer than 1 month. Osiris League is definitely going to be longer than 1 month. I see around 30 mins in Ark the UCS at their gates. Who else has a bet? 32 minute, 25th minute at the gates. Okay, that's not a bad bet. If you ask me, it's probably gonna get... It's gonna take them another 10 minutes or so. So a 28th minute for me. And this obelisk is getting reinforced. You can see the HP on the obelisk go up a little bit, but look at how fast it's going down with the massive solo swarm that's going on in here. This guy doesn't have the march speed to get there. He should have left a long time ago for this obelisk. This obelisk is gonna get taken out, and now you are screwed, my man. This is the time to run. This is the time where the plow is gonna push towards your city next. There are marches still chilling in here after the rally. The first obelisk in favor of the red team. The next obelisk is right down here. UCS starting to put pressure on it, bringing on the marches slow and steady. There's much more blue presence in here than there was up top. But nonetheless, these guys are very squishy. The only potential proper tier 5 in here, and the rest are squishy players that all these tier 5 marches are going to enjoy taking out. So at this point, I can comfortably say that the match is over. The reason I'm saying this is that there are 36 minutes remaining to the match. There are a total of 1,180 points on the map total overall, period. UCS right now control 1,050 versus the 80 by the other team, which means that every single minute that passes by, they're growing by at least another 1,000. Their gap from the other team. For the other team to actually be successful to come back, they're going to need the full map as soon as possible, or they're going to need an Ark of Osiris or 2 or even 3 to even stay contesting for it. Nobody has presence for the Ark itself, which means that really if UCS pick up this Ark plus keep going the way they're doing, there's absolutely no way to close this gap at this point in time. We're looking at a 30 versus 28, which is important to notice that all the reports were... Every single teleport was used by WFL. UCS still have 2 teleports available. A little bit of action happening on the Shrine of War. The building is blinking. A rally is hitting it, but there is so many forces inside these buildings. UCS holding on so well that these rallies just don't stand a chance. This blinking building is not going to get much done. But what we are looking at that is going to be very, very interesting is you can see the line of where UCS are. They were all the way down here when we started looking earlier, and now they're slowly making their way closer and closer and closer to these cities. Very soon we're going to see all this blue start being overwhelmed by reds, and I'm assuming there is a rally by the red team. End Days rally is marching this way? It's marching this way to hit him, I guess. What is this? Abe started a rally right here. He's mobilizing on this guy right there. And what do we have here? The blue team trying to take over their obelisk as well. Bottom obelisk not being really contested as of right now. UCS slowly and steadily making more presence at the bottom, bringing out more troops down here and starting to push into the obelisk belonging to the blue team. See you in 157, UCS. What's in 157? And we disconnect yet again. With so many marches on the battlefield, this is getting a bit laggy. I hate doing Osiris big alliances. They don't rally much, just fight all the time. I did Osiris in LG, and the first time In 10 Osirises, I have to use speed ups and didn't get the 10k points. I hate doing Osiris in big alliances. They don't rally much and just fight all over the time. I don't think that's true. Legends always rally. It's very rare that you see things like this where you don't rally at all, but that happens usually with games that aren't as well balanced. And so there is no point to rally because there's nothing to rally. What are you going to rally in here? And it looks like the game is having a hard time with everything that's going on in this obelisk. What a crazy thing. We are losing by 3k points. You got this, Sam. There's still plenty of time left, oh man. There's still plenty of time left. Let's try to close the game and oh, wait. Connection lost. Come on, man. Give us the connection. There it is. We have connected, and as we have connected, let's zoom out just a tad bit just so we don't get all the crazy animations. And you can see UCS are already at the front line of these buildings. Not that much presence down here. Nothing really to do too much for the red team. They're just plowing on right now, sending rallies onto either obelisks, where you're going to see an obelisk rally right here, or into cities just for the fun of it. Which LG were you in, Ali, by the way? That's going to be 3 months. The Osiris League is probably going to be a good 2 months, I think. They just capture the half of the map and they just fighting in the middle and don't push much. Ali, which Legends Gaming Alliance were you in? That does not sound right at all. That sounds like someone wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing, which... Let's do this, chat. We're going to get out of here and let's try to get back in to be able to spectate what's going on in a proper way, because the lag was a bit too real. We see UCS picking up the Ark of Osiris, the second Ark of Osiris. They own 1,100 out of the 1,180 points on the map. They are fighting to take another 30 points away from the blue team with this outpost of Iset, I think this is. Blue team trying to contest for the outpost of Iset in the middle, but failing miserably. And at this point in time, 32 minutes remaining on the map. UCS are 3 buildings away from taking out the whole map, making it as red as it can be. Finally, Constantine on Mightiest Governor. I know, right? I need to see how I'm getting him. I might have to do something crazy. Chat, what do you guys think? Do I push for tier 5s to try to get Constantine, or do I wait for a research event and do it when I can potentially get 20 commander sculptures? Because I could push for Constantine when I push for tier 5s, right? I could do tier 5 push. And probably, I need to figure out how many points JWM usually do to end up getting top 10. Research event, get Constantine, he's the best. Yeah, I was thinking, I'm for sure not doing it this week. I need to see how UCS act, how JWM act when it comes to that is, you can get Constantine when training tier 5 troops. True, Casper, but at the same time I gotta get there, and the question is, do I wait? I could do the I thing is, I don't see research events happening. I haven't seen one in like 3 months. So I'm tired of waiting. Do you think you can get top 10? I think I could probably get top 25 for sure. Top 10 is not necessarily an easy thing in JWM. I am in JWM, which means that it's going to be a fight and a half to even end up at the top 25. So I'd like to end up top 25 twice. I think that's more comfortable than top 10 and top 15 once. What's up, Faraz? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're watching UCS slaughter everything in their path. They're about to take over the final 2 buildings that belong to the blue team. There was a rally marching here, but I see that it's not marching there anymore. Just a bunch of field combat here for us to enjoy some of the craziness. I see a bunch of Yisong Yays. I see a couple of Richards, a Baybars right there, a Genghis Khan, some Minamotos, some Genghis Khans. I see a Boudica, which is kind of weird. I didn't know that this opened up again. Bam. So we have that out of the way. And now UCS are slowly making their way forward. And it's funny because they're just moving around trying to get these buildings out of the blue team. They just picked up the last outpost that they didn't have. And then because they don't really care for these too much, the blue team picked up the buildings back away from them. You can see this guy is actually more interested in fighting the battle on the battlefield than actually picking up the building itself. And the same thing you can see in here, UCS picking up the outpost yet again, fighting on the battlefield. This is straight up fights on the battlefield till the very end. And people are starting to port out of the bottom obelisk as UCS zero them 1 by 1. UCS versus WFL. Greg. UCS versus WFL. It's a weaker alliance. It's a much weaker alliance than they are. Now you're winning by 3K. There you go, Sam. What a turnover there. That's how you got to keep doing it. Keep pushing. Keep doing your things. Get the points. Get the arcs. Do everything. Keep smashing it. Bro, migrate to 1099 is dead. Just 3 tier 5s there. If I could migrate, if migration cooldown wasn't a thing, that would be actually possible to migrate around to get the commanders. But I won't get stuck in a dead kingdom for a month to get a commander. Makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. Everything's starting to burn up, light up on fire. We're seeing smoke out of 3 of these cities. 1 city's already burning. Last building is this obelisk that belongs to the blue team. Once the time finishes on the cooldown on these 3 buildings, plus the sky altar, which seems to have been taken by the blue team and instantly taken back by UCS, we're about to see UCS taking the whole map and just gatekeeping. We said 28th minute, and that's still already not a thing. The next guess was 25 minutes. Let's see if within 25 we're going to be seeing UCS gatekeeping the blue team. There is still blue people coming and going like crazy in here. There's still not that much of a presence by the red team, but they are starting to head that way. They are starting to come this way. We're still seeing more presence of the red team much further ahead. And I think that maybe 25 is still too early, but during the 20th minute, we're definitely going to be seeing some gatekeeping. I had the misfortune of being in a dead kingdom for Saladin as a free-to-play player. I got my sculptures and got out of dodge. There you go. That's not a bad idea. Well, in 1 month, you can get 2 Mightiest Governor first places or some other events so that it's worth. It depends. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to just build your account and then come back somewhere else? Cool. Remember that you're going to be a whole month bored out of your mind. You're not going to be doing anything. You're not going to have people like anything to do for a whole month, little alone to like get to know people. Because if it's a dead kingdom, then it's not fun to be in a dead kingdom for that long. The cost to go to a dead kingdom can also be very high. That is true, Greg. You're going to need a lot of passport pages to make your way out there if it's a dead kingdom. Hi, Gekko. What do you think about LG1 Ark of Osiris earlier? It was cool. How do you think about that? It was cool. It was a good strategy. Legends Gaming always on point. We had a little bit of a mid-game interview with the folks out there. We were on their Discord call. It was really cool. It was nice. Constantine with who? Constantine with Richard. Constantine remains to be a question mark because he can be very strong almost with anything because of his insta-heal. He's going to be a very interesting one to see how people pair him up. Ideally, it'll start with a Richard, but I don't think the Richard Constantine will be like the go-to pairing when it comes to Constantine himself. Thoughts on the current and newly implemented migration policies? Balanced, could use work, terrible. I said this before, and I leaked the migration changes when about a week, 4 days before they actually announced them. I think it's a good step forward. It's obviously broken that you're able to migrate mid KVK, and it did cause a lot of imbalances across the board. It caused imbalances as well to alliances like Kingdom 58's High, who kept seeing UCS grow and grow. I kept seeing JWM grow and grow and grow with every single day with more migrants. And at the same time, other kingdoms and other lost kingdoms who were winning, all of a sudden the other side picked up like 4 tier 5s from Kingdom 51 or something like that migrated, and they turned the tides of the lost kingdom itself. So the migration thing, it was good for the first attempt, right? But obviously nothing you implement will go unpunished, you know? Everything will get exploited, everything will get abused. Humans are very, very intelligent when it comes to exploiting any possible gap. And so we have found awesome gaps, which I have used as well, migrated mid KVK to a winning side. I don't think that's a thing. I think that's not something that should happen, but it was available and it happened. And so that's what happened. But I think that the changes they made are very good. I think they're going to lock down. Migration should be kind of like a transfer window. So you'll have like 2 or 3 transfer windows in the year or something like that where you can change teams, and the rest of the things are very competitive. Kind of like in sports where you have a window, a transfer window, and after that, no more transferring. It should be the same thing. There's no way you would get Constantine in JWM. There is a way. Of course there is a way. If I'm pushing for tier 5s, I can go from 20 million, 26 million power to 46 million power, probably within the 4th day of that same mightiest governor. On that same day, I train a lot of tier 4s. I set up a bunch of tier 4s and train a bunch of tier 4s. Get like 3-4 million power out of points out of tier 4s. Gather a lot, hunt barbarians a lot. Put myself at 8-9 million points just from like the basic events and the training troops. And then jump up to tier 5s. That'll give me a nice little 40 million points. 46 million points will put you at top 25. And then the question is, what do you do during killing event? And the answer is smack into anyone who's willing to send tier 4 sieges my way. So like an off season. I like your thoughts on it. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. That's exactly how it's going to work. You're going to have Lost Kingdom season, migration window. Osiris season, migration window. Lost Kingdom window, migration window. And so forth and so on. So that's how it should be going. Did you like our Ark of Osiris versus Misfits? It was insane. Greg, I woke up at 5:30 a.m. I went to bed at 2 and woke up at 5:30 a.m. because that Ark was at 6 a.m. And I knew you guys are going to be dope as hell. And I knew Misfit Lions are going to be dope as hell. So I had to cast it. And to see you guys turn the tides throughout the match was really cool. I was super ecstatic casting that event, casting that Ark. I was very happy to have woken up. We have 1 new subscriber this session. That is none other, well, technically 2 now. MC Tino and Arman Y. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys like these kinds of things where we do casts, we do all these things, make sure you're smashing a like on the stream. And if you're new to the channel, hit a subscribe. It'll help a lot. We are seeing what we were waiting for. The marches making their way. The red carpet is up and the gatekeeping is beginning. We are seeing a little bit of red marches in here, but the masses are on their way and they're coming in very, very heavy. We're seeing end day, 4 tier 5 marches, snowball. I can't read this name. It's Midna with tier 5s. Look at the tier 5s making their way. This is coming and it's about to smack into a wall of blue. These guys are not ready for it with all their sieges across the board. These guys are not ready for it. Everyone got the time wrong. It's 20 minutes and for gatekeeping. Yeah, it sounds about right. Red team picking up another Ark of Osiris. They are almost 30 points ahead. And this is pretty, well, this was over a while back, but still, we're about to see the sea of red making, look at this. Look at this. It's kind of like in the movies when you can see like the armies are slowly marching their way into the shot. Look at this. We're going to be seeing down here a lot of red marches making their way slowly and steadily. And this is about to be a nightmare. Thanks for all the Ark streams this week. Guys, we have one more Ark later tonight, and that one is going to be a very interesting one. I can tell you guys in a second what it's going to be. I don't know the alliances involved. Let me see here. Trying to set up something for the next Ark of Osiris cast that's going to be kind of cool. You guys are really going to enjoy it. We have War Z from Kingdom 149 against an unknown foe. It's 587 million power against 603. War Z actually are down 13 million power. So it's going to be a really, really cool, interesting matchup, which we are going to get to cast later today. And we are going to have a very special guest. The one cool thing about knowing... And by the way, Greg, this is to you guys as well. Ritesh, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate you. And anyone from UCS or from Kingdom 2 or from any alliance I ever cast, if you guys want to, you're more than welcome to let me know. I would love to either join your Discord call or do a post-game interview. We did a post-game interview with Misfit Lion King on after their Misfits versus K50 Ark of Osiris. And we're going to have a very special guest, hopefully, after the matchup of War Z, and especially if they win. It's going to be a very interesting one. As of right now, the red has taken over the map. 40,000 points for the red team, 1,180 points per minute gain. Ark of Osiris is going left and right towards the red team. And now the question is, do we have enough in here for solo point rewards? So let's take a look. Let's go take a real quick look. Hello, thank you. Let's go take a quick look at the solo points right here. We are seeing mostly over 10k. Most people are over 10k right now. There are 26 out of 30 over 10k points. 2 people joined a bit later, it seems, or they're not active at all. Mary John is almost there, and she has plenty, 17 minutes to get another 2,500 points. That's definitely doable right there, even if you're just gathering. Let's go take a look at the blue team. They are looking a bit grimmer. They have only, let's see, about 15 of their members are above the 10k. There are a few of them kind of close. There's still plenty of time, but you guys really at this point want to send your marches out and fight on the gate as much as possible just to get those solo points out of the way, or else you'll end up getting less amount of rewards than you should be, really. Will passport cost increase past 70 since it's based on individual power? I don't think so. I think it's based on basing on individual power is basically basing it on ranking of individual power. So if you're the #1 rank, you'll forever pay 70, I think, or 75 that is. And then from there, it's relative, right? If you migrate to a kingdom where the top player is 30 million power and you're 31, you'll end up spending 70 pages, you know? So that's how it usually works. It's based on your ranking in the kingdom. And the worst part is, and this is something that you guys should be aware of, especially you big players thinking about migrating towards the end of this Lost Kingdom or something like that. Migration costs are based on the players that are in the kingdom. This means that if your alliance is in the Lost Kingdom, they are outside of the kingdom, and therefore you might end up spending more passport pages because you will be a higher rank in the kingdom itself. So if you have someone who is a big player who's coming to your alliance, it might be worth it to coordinate with the bigger players in the kingdom to go back to the kingdom for a few minutes to allow this individual to port in with less amounts of passport pages. So that's a big one that we found out very recently. They said they'll change it. I honestly don't believe that they're going to change that. Lost Kingdom's over pretty much. Maybe for next Lost Kingdom they might do it. But for this one, it's happened to multiple people that they ended up spending, I think like 6, 7, even 10 pages more than they should have, because of this like little thing. Now, the real question is the red ants, how many points will they get? And we have 15 long minutes to just chill here, you guys and I. We can talk about a bunch of different things. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, any topics you want to talk about, I'm totally down. I have my own things I can go over if you guys want to, but I'm always interested to hear from you guys. Always interested to hear from you guys. Love your videos. Thank you, John Schmucker. Appreciate you. What's up, Sam? You went to the zoo and saw a gecko today? That's cool. I want to buy a gecko. I want a day gecko. I want to buy a day gecko. I've been saying it for a long ass time. I want to buy a day gecko, and then every time I stream, even if when I make videos potentially, but every time I stream, there's going to be another camera, maybe like on the top left or something, or up on the top right, or maybe like right above me. There's going to be another camera that is going to be on the terrarium, and you guys will be able to see the geckos that I get. How cool would that be? You have 3 geckos? That's cool. I want to pick up, I want to get 2. I want to get 2 Madagascar day geckos. 1 female, 1 male, so they have friends. So they're friends, and potentially they can make kids. That'd be cool. New pairing system didn't work well. Which new pairing system? Oh, this one? Yeah, there's a little bit of issues in there, I guess. Who are you rooting for in this Women's World Cup? The Netherlands or the United States? Honestly, the crazy thing is the women's national team for the United States are suing the football national committee or something like that for equal pay, which is kind of nuts. And it's funny that the men's soccer team earns so much more, but the women's soccer team earns more titles. So that's a weird one. I don't know. I think the United States has it in the bag, but the Netherlands are super tough, so you never know. I don't know. I kind of like the U.S. women's team, soccer team. Yeah, the Orange are tough, though. The Oranges are very tough. Yo, imagine skill damage taken reduction when you put Constantine in Garrison and put Saladin second in command. Imagine the skill damage taken reduction. Yeah, I know, right? The stock on that could be nuts. It could be the next hold. You're Dutch? I figured by the Dutch thing you wrote in the chat. Gekko buying geckos sounds weird. I wish I could just get them instead of buying them. Passport cost will be based on individual power and not projected power in the kingdom like it is right now. You see, if they end up doing that, it's going to be a very, very, very weird situation. That's what was said in the email. I said I read the mail, but I still think that they are they're not 100% on that one either. I don't think they're 100% on that one either. And if it's going to go like that, then it's really not going to be worth it to have power, and therefore it's not going to be worth it to be a big player, and therefore it's not going to be really worth it to spend much because you don't waste much because you don't do much. So it's kind of it's a two-edged sword. You want to have the availability. If there is a player that is 150 million power in your kingdom, you want to have the availability for players that are 150, 140, 130, 120, 110, 115, whatever it is, to port in with less amounts of passport pages, as it's like a ranking thing. That does encourage people to be bigger and not be huge, because they don't want to be the biggest in their alliance, but they want to be as big as like second or third place or whatever not. It's like kind of a psychologist thing. Like, why would I go to 100 mil when I can do almost anything I want with 85 mil? With even 80 mil, if you're lean with plenty of troops, you don't need more than 80 mil power, technically. All that there is like you're making more and more power because you're trying to win events by training troops. But you would suicide them. You would dismiss them. If the point is to keep, if the amounts of troops, if the amounts of passport pages are based on your power, people are going to dismiss troops. They're going to train boatloads of tier 5s to win an event. Once they won the event, they're going to dismiss half of them because they don't want to exceed a certain amount of pages. I think you're wrong. My friend was 20 and low spender. When he migrated, he spent 2 passport pages. When I migrated with 20 mil, I spent 1, because at some point in your when he migrated, he was a higher rank than you were. Need to change the honor point system to have kill points so people fighting instead of making peace and KVK. I think that's a double-edged sword, right? Because then two people who are making peace are gonna be like, cool, let's put sieges versus sieges and just gain kills for points, which is what a lot of people do for Mightiest Governor nowadays. Mightiest Governor is not that mighty anymore. It's a matter of send as many sieges against each other for points. Matchmaking is still broken. All the big alliances getting paired with low power player. I know. Even though some of these bigger alliances like K50 and like Misfit Lion division sent out only 700 million power for the better or worse, right? They could have easily gone for the 1 billion power, but they sent out less and ended up matching better than having 1 billion power, and this happens. A couple of people managed to sneak their way into the blue area. This is pretty much over. 12 minutes remaining. These 15 minutes are gonna take a while to go by, chat. A while to go by. But UCS doing what UCS does best. Annihilate. Have I done a siege rally? No comments. I've never done a siege rally, but when I got Saladin, one of our tier 5 players was really kind and helped me out by sending a bunch of his tier 5 sieges on me, which was really cool of him. Super expensive to heal. I offered to help heal. He didn't really want it, but it was just like what I did is I ended up top 25 twice, and he helped me out in one of the occasions. Well, he helped me out in the occasions in general, and he was just like, it's the easiest way to get this thing. There is no competition. Nobody wants to kill each other, especially when you're in your own kingdom, not in Lost Kingdom. When nobody farms during KE, who the heck are you going to fight? So people fight each other. Bro, you can seek in that area. Just drag your army where the safe zone end and you're in. You need to be able to get in here, you need one of these blue marches to hit you and then go backwards and kite you in with them. That's really the only way you can get in here. You can't place yourself in this side. But if any of these blue marches hitting a red march start going backwards and you keep following them, then you end up in the inside. That's usually how you kite your way in. And we're looking at the gatekeeping of hell. Blue team didn't even make it above the 10,000 points. What a shame. It sucks for them. It really sucks for them. That's the old way. There is a new way. You can drag your armies to the back of the safe zone. So like to here. Can drag your troops this way. I'm confused. Come on, game. You, go away. Bam. Was using circle strategy. What's the only chance was to remote there? Let me tell more. Let me read that 1 second, Ali. Give me a second. Let's get back in here. Constantine has 40% skill reduction on his 4th skill and Saladin 30. If you count the talents, 9% from support tree, 12 from garrison, so 91 total. Really does it stack? I don't think you'll end up with 91, and I'll explain to you why in a second. But let's take a look here very quickly. Keep an eye on these guys going in. We're winning by more than 20 points. Things do change fast. Yup, Sam. Things do change very quickly. It's a very, very dynamic game mode. Things can change at all times. It's not even keeping up. It won't even let us watch this. I wish there was simplified graphics for this. It keeps disconnecting. It's crazy. Bro, in the safe zone, end the behind the wall, drag your army there, and your army will go in and stop where you want. When the safe zone ends, the behind the wall, drag, let's, 1 second. Let it go. Come on, work. So much to see. Let me zoom out a little bit. It'll help us. Not that much. Damn, look at how many reds. Damn, look at how many reds. Oh my goodness. Look at how many reds just completely gatekeeping the situation. What can be said, chat? What can we say? I'm a UCS player. There you go. Bro, it saves doesn't work, Ali. Mr. Smoke said it doesn't work. So he wanted to tell me, why does it not stack? Oh, because it's kind of weird. It does, it stacks, but it doesn't. It stacks from the beginning. So like, it's not that if you have 20% and then you add another 10% on top of that, then that 10% is from the total. It's 10% from the initial number. So it's going to be 93% if you set it up that way, but the number is not going to change. You're not going to actually see it change by 93% because you already have a certain percentage that is being decreased. So you don't know what the skill damage, the base value of the skill damage is on you at all time, even though you do have the number available from the skill itself, right? So you're saying if the skill does 1700, 93% will have the number, but it's not going to be exactly that. You're going to see that the numbers are going to be a bit skewed. It's not exactly 93% of the 1700. This matchmaking though, yeah, Headhunter, horrendous indeed. I don't know. It looks like Mr. Smoked Turkey said that it doesn't work for him. I guess he's on an Ark right now. I uninstalled this game. Nothing but a rich man's fantasy. Okay, Johnny. If that's how you feel, sorry you feel that way, my man. Sorry you feel that way. We have about 39 seconds remaining. UCS are about to wrap up this very one-sided Ark of Osiris. Can everybody get their solo points? Let's go take a final look at the blue team first. As we will be able to see UCS at the end too. We have 20 members above the 10. Oh, buddy, you really have to get there. Noah as well. 2, 3, 4 members really, really close. A lot of people over the 8K. Only one person below the 3. What a shame. And what about the red team? UCS's side has almost everybody. 2 members are still not on that 10K, but everybody else smashing that 10K gold, getting their 10 gold sculptures, and the victory goes to UCS. GG in the chat for both alliances. This is end day, zeroing out the individual score, winning number 1 in individual score. We're going to go take a look at that in a moment. You can see total kills telling the story right there. The total kills are telling the story, and the healed units are also. 27 million troops went down the drain and never healed up. 27 million troops never healed up. While 9 did go down here, but 2 of them came back up. Massive victory everywhere, even provisions. Picking up every single provision. Picking up as many occupied buildings as possible, picking up everything. 29 teleports against the 16, 4 Arks of Osiris captured. What a slaughter. Solo gold, let's go take a final look at what we got here. The victory of Osiris right there. Let's see. Let's make sure everybody. We have 1 member, 2 people below the 10K, and End Day pushing through with 67,000 individual honor points. Very easy for them. GG. See, I really like to see this, but we made many mistakes today. We made many mistakes today. End day, always making sure that people learn from the mistakes. Making sure that the team is aware that even though it was a weak opponent by their standards, they have to do better. They have to get more disciplined. They have to fix their mistakes to make sure that once they go up against the big boys, they don't lose for silly mistakes. Oh, and there goes that. Ah. Can you stream Ark of Osiris? I will be streaming it, and we have a really good one, Kevin. We have a really good one lined up. It's straight facts. You can't fight nor win against a pay-to-win person who dictates the kingdom. And I just came to the realization that the game is nothing but money will win. It's a pay-to-win game, period. Glad you're streaming. Legend Ronnie hates UCS. I don't know why. I have nothing to do with that. I got nothing to do with that. See, they're going through their mistakes right now, and this is not where we want to be. It is time for us to bail out and let these guys do their thing. Their realization of their issues. It's nothing to do with us. So we'll get out while we still can. Chat, I thank you guys for being here. We streamed a very one-sided Ark of Osiris, but anytime we get to see UCS on the battlefield is a good time. I think that UCS is one of those alliances that are very underrated. Nobody really talks about enough, and that's why we cast them as much as we can. Hopefully next time around they'll get a bigger, better opponent. Hopefully the matchmaking system will be a bit nicer for the folks at UCS, at JWM, at White Tigers, and everybody else. We have one more Ark of Osiris planned out later tonight. It's going to be a huge one. You guys really want to be here for that. It's going to be a close one. It's a good matchup. 13 million power difference between the two. We have some of the bigger players in the game in either side. It's the War Z guys from Kingdom 149 and Big Rick himself showing up versus an unknown foe still. I think they're very underrated, Vasco. Like, people don't give them enough they don't give them enough respect. I don't think so. I think that a lot of people are not aware of UCS because you guys are very quiet to yourselves. You don't see a lot of UCS folks in all these different places. The UCS crew is more of a like it's tougher to get in touch with the UCS, and I think it's an underrated in the sense that you guys are a lot more than a lot of people give you credit for. That's what I mean by that, Vasco. I mean that it's actually a big you guys are a big alliance that people don't pay enough attention to. There is a lot of good things in UCS that people don't pay enough attention to. So, yeah, I definitely think that there's a lot to learn from UCS, and that's, again, why I love... who don't care, bro? We do our work. Main problem is we are mostly Asians. Yep, that does happen, and that's not a problem. It is what it is, you know? It is what it is. I think that as long as I'm able to show the community a lot more how much work you guys put in and how good your alliance is, the better it'll be. They'll get to really know who Ende is and how good of a leader he is, who all these folks are, how the management system works, how you guys decide. UCS is a very disciplined guild. I know. I know this. I know this alliance decently well now. I've had the opportunity to come in a couple of times, talk to a bunch of people, get in touch with the leadership, get in touch with a bunch of folks from the team itself. So to say that you guys are very disciplined is 100%, a lot more than a lot of other alliances. And you guys have good strategies. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Ende goes, GG, we won, but we made this mistake, this mistake, this mistake, this mistake, this mistake. We have to fix it. You know, he doesn't say like, it was a bad enemy, whatever. He actually takes his time to figure out how to fix the mistakes. That's a good thing. That's one of the best things about UCS. No drama, great alliance. Yep. What are the requirements to join UCS? I have no idea. You should get in touch with them and figure it out and come into Kingdom 2 regardless. I think it's 40 million power and 25 million kills to get into UCS, but they have alliances upon alliances of in Kingdom 2 that you can join and get your way again and just slowly and steadily make your way into UCS. I restarted again. Believe now we will talk about our teams who there you go. You see, I don't want to be in that, so the world doesn't see what you guys are planning. JWM is great, no drama either. Agree. Good morning, Box. I'm just about to head out of here. This was a very one-sided affair by UCS's folks, but I saw a change in their strategy. I did notice they changed their strategy a little bit, so it was a good one for us to see, and let's see if anyone else can come up against the strategy and figure out how it changed. JWM will fail one day. Everything at the end comes to an end, Ali. At some point in time, what goes up goes down, no matter what you do. But until it goes down, doesn't mean that you can't do your best to keep climbing. Yeah, I agree, Vasco, exactly. I agree. That's a good thing. UCS is a great alliance. It is. The Ark was bugged, unknown errors, buildings disappearing, disconnects. Yeah, that does tend to happen. We just lost to BWM. Damn. Fall, lose in KVK. Ali, it's going to take a lot of work to take JWM out of a KVK. Yep, the only one who has beaten them in an Ark of Osiris so far, I think, has been UCS, right? So yeah, but again, it was a very, very early time in Ark of Osiris's. I think that if you place UCS versus JWM in an Ark of Osiris again, we're going to see a much closer match, much more interesting match. And we got to get it to happen somehow. But Lilith have to make this work. Lilith, come on, man. UCS versus JWM, Ark of Osiris in 2 weeks. We got to get it done. Do it. Anyway, chat, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys at 19 UTC. 19 UTC. You beat on strategy, correct, Vasco? You guys did beat them on the strategy. It is time to go 19 UTC. One more Ark of Osiris is going to be a good one. You guys really want to be in there for that. They seriously need to fix these issues. I agree before the league arrives. I completely agree. My alliance, for some reason, doesn't use Discord on Ark. Headhunter, you're going to have to get them to do it. They'll figure it out the hard way once they start losing more and more. Well, maybe all the other kingdoms will unite against JWM. Good luck with that. Uniting against an alliance that has that many tier 5s is really tough. It's really, really tough. Anyway, chat, I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, evening, afternoon, weekend, whatever time you guys are watching this. The VOD will be up in a few hours. See you later. Peace.